welcome back to my channel. This is Jake.
Hi.
I'm in New York right now. You might have seen, there've probably been some videos going up anyway. Jake lives in New York.
I do.
Which is great. That was really deep. I do. The last time that Jake was on my channel, well, it might have been the previous video that we filmed together.
3 minutes ago.
Before that, was when Jake came over to London, and that was awesome. That was brilliant.
It was a great time.
But obviously now I'm in New York, so we're filming in New York. I asked on Twitter, what did I say? I said, super excited to film some videos with Jake today. Are there any burning Broadway/Theatreland topics you'd like us to talk about? And we've had some questions, so I figured we would just answer them. So it's like a mini Broadway Q&A. We've had about 5 or 6 questions that I thought would be good to discuss. So the first one comes from Charlotte, and she's saying, why the West End doesn't have sippy cups at the bars, and why not all Broadway shows have the show on the sippy cups.
What does the West End offer instead?
So, Wicked have started doing the cups. Apart from that, I don't think I've ever seen them. So in terms of drinks, they just come in normal little plastic, like plastic cups, like that one, just normal plastic tumblers. It depends on the show's merchandise. Like sometimes they'll have flasks, like thermos flasks, that type of thing on sale. But there's nothing in terms of the drinks that make them special, which I think is quite sad. I mean, putting it bluntly, I'm going to say it's a money thing.
Oh yeah, no, it's just expensive.
They're just expensive to produce, and that's why they don't do it.
A lot of shows for the different major producers will use a universal cup. A lot of theaters in the Schubert houses, so the Schubert organization, the houses they own on Broadway, they have like a universal cup that shows will use. But no, it's just expensive for shows to produce. And I don't know where the sippy cup thing came from. I guess it's because people just don't make a mess. It's just normal for me. I also don't buy drinks when I go to see shows because it's so expensive. I normally don't,
but here I'm like, give me everything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just pick up, if the cup is branded and I like the show, I pick it up from the floor at the end of the show. Because everyone leaves. That is
such a good idea. I've not been doing that.
Oh my God. It's the only thing I do. Because a soda.
I've been picking up playbills. I don't think I've seen cups on the floor though, to be fair.
You have to look. Yeah. They are there. Everyone leaves them.
Quite hidden, yeah.
Because people don't care. Yeah. And you just give it a good wash, just like you would if you had bought it, and then
it's good as new, basically.
Yeah. So that's the only. And some of my friends make hideous fun of me, but I'm like.
But oh my God, you would. Like if it's just there and people. So for example, like at Anastasia, it was like $10 for the drink plus cup, and I was like, well, that's ridiculous, but I want this cup, so okay. And then at Waitress, it was only $7, I think. And the ladies next to me, they actually said, they were like, oh, where did you get the cup? And I was like, just at the bar. They didn't have anything but the cup, so you had to get that anyway. And I said, why? And they were like, they asked me how much it was. And they said, because we bought just a bottle of water, and that was $5 anyway. I was like, I don't feel as ripped off now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the argument for branding on the cups is like some people would see it as a souvenir like you, but I don't think the majority of people do. So yeah, that's cups.
I love them. I'm not gonna lie, and now tonight when I go see Beautiful, I'm gonna be searching all over for cups at the end of the show.
You will find them. You will not have to search hard.
The thing is, I just feel like you don't have enough time at the end of the show. Like I feel like the ushers are really rushy here.
Didn't you hang out at Anastasia until they brought the ghost light out?
Yeah, but it wasn't long. It was 4 minutes.
I try to get out of the theater as quick as I possibly
Normally
can.
I do, but this time I'm like, well, I want to take some more photos and video and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's why. And then I got told off for doing
I was going to say, I'm sure that's making you really popular with the
usher.
usher.
It's totally worth it. The first ushers that I encountered at Anastasia was so nice. Like, one of the ladies, I asked, I was like, can I get some extra playbills to take to my friends at home? And she was like, I shouldn't, but come on.
Did she really say that?
Yeah.
Ushers shouldn't care about playbills.
Yeah.
You can take playbills.
Yeah. She was nice about it, but she was like, I said, oh, can I get a couple more? And she was like, you can go ask my colleague, like, at the interval. And
Yeah, I mean...
I guess they don't want to, if their bosses are watching and stuff, I don't know.
Right. They just really shouldn't care. Like they have enough playbills. Like, if you want another playbill, you should take one, and then if you feel the need to ask, you can ask.
Yeah. It's good advice. And why not all Broadway shows have the show on the sippy cups? I mean, sure, there's no point in them having the sippy cups if they're not going to have the branding on it. Charlotte, I don't really understand that question. I apologise.
I understand the question.
Oh, yeah?
It is, so you see the waitress cup?
Yeah.
A lot of shows don't put the logo on the cup.
Really?
Yeah, because it's really expensive to do that.
Really?
Yes. So most of the cups are blank. But I guess you have 2 cups and they're both branded, which is very lucky for you.
Yeah.
But no.
Because the last time as well, like, obviously Wicked, that's got... Wait, does the Wicked one have the logo, or is it just the thing about so much happened before Dorothy?
I mean, that's still a brand.
Yeah,
that's still branding.
Like,
But,
I've never seen a blank one.
Well, that's what I was talking about, like 10 minutes ago.
But okay, that makes sense now,
It's like the different, So yeah,
this is
it's
why
just
I'm confused, because I've never seen ones that
right.
don't have the logo and stuff on.
Beautiful doesn't have them.
Maybe, I'll find out tonight.
Yeah, it's the same thing with playbills being in black and white instead of color. It's just money.
Makes me sad. I understand it, but it makes me sad. Sophie's asking the stage door differences between the West End. Stage doors are usually calm here compared to Broadway stage doors. Agreed. My God.
Yeah, I mean...
Stage door's crazy here.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I stage doored. I really don't do it at all anymore.
That's fair. I'm the same in London.
But yeah, it's really crazy here. And I really don't like it.
That's fair. It's a lot more organised. Like in London, apart from some of the bigger shows, or if it's this, depending on the location, like for example Wicked, where they are, because the nature of the street, like they put a barrier out, so then like obviously the people coming out of stage door have actually a path to get out. If they didn't, obviously people would just form like a crowd around the door. But some shows it's literally you just wait in the street. And obviously here, the ones I've seen so far, it's the same with a barrier situation.
Yeah, they do. Every theater has a barricade now. I don't know. There's been a discussion that came up really recently because like a major Broadway actor had stopped coming out of the stage door for an extended period of time, and like that was the first time that had really happened to the point where like Twitter cared, and people started getting in fights about it, and the
really weird.
The practicality of it is that meeting an actor at the stage door is not included in the ticket price.
Absolutely.
And
it's not a meet and greet, you pay for the show.
But everyone thinks it's a meet and greet. And it takes a lot out of the actors, and it takes a really long time for the actor to go down the line. And it makes them get home like at least 30 minutes later. Yeah. So it's different. I mean, in a lot of cases, the more social media presence you have for the show,
the crazier it's going to be.
Yeah, and the better for the actor in the show.
I would love to see the Hamilton stage door.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, I can imagine. I would never go to it.
So you'll be out of come from way too early tonight. But the Dear Evan Hansen stage door is a madhouse, and that's where that social media thing came from, because Ben stopped coming out of the stage door.
Oh, I see.
He does now.
I don't blame him. Like, absolutely don't blame him. It's so exhausting, I bet, to do shows, and then to have people treat you like crap because you're putting your health first. Like we have in the UK, like Carrie Hope Fletcher is the first person that comes to mind. Do you know who Carrie Hope Fletcher is? Be honest.
Yes.
Yeah?
Is she a Glinda?
No. You don't know who she is.
Wait.
Carrie Hope Fletcher, she's currently Wednesday Addams on the Addams Family Tour.
Okay.
She was Eponine in Les Mis a a few years ago. No, it's fine. You don't have to know about her. No, I'm just saying because basically her brother Tom Fletcher is in a band called McFly. Have you heard of McFly?
Yes,
Okay.
from the Lindsay Lohan movie from like 10 years ago. She worked in the bowling alley.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny. McFly is like integral British personal history of this my age. Yeah, so basically she's quite big on YouTube as well. But she always wanted to go into theatre. So now obviously she's doing really well. But because of the nature of her fans, a lot of people get very how to word this? If she doesn't do stage door and stuff, like people get quite angry.
Oh yeah.
At points, they'll be like, I think it's because of the parents as well, because she has a lot of younger fans as well. The parents will be like, well, my daughter and I waited for you, and you couldn't even come out to say hello.
Okay.
And I'm like,
I want to find what prompted all.
Oh
the
no,
Ben
I saw it.
Platt
I saw it.
Where the mom was like, I want to do like a dramatic reading of it, like Ben Platt.
We can find it, I'm sure. Like,
okay, I found it.
Oh, you found it. Okay, good.
Ben Platt, you are an asshole. My daughters waited for you twice after seeing your show, but refused to come out and greet fans. Garbage. is the tweet from at Diana McLaughlin.
You are garbage, Diana.
Yeah, she voted for Trump.
For sure.
It was on her Twitter page. Like she had only tweets about supporting Trump and then calling Ben Platt a piece of garbage. It was hilarious.
Like fair enough if there was a thing set up where you paid for the ticket plus a meet and greet. Fair enough then.
Which they don't even do.
They don't do that. So like you just can't get annoyed. Like yes, okay, it's sad, especially if you have like loved a performer for a long time and then you finally get the opportunity to see them. But regardless, you should be just so grateful that you've been able to see them. Like I feel like that is enough in and of itself.
Like there are a very select few stage door memories that I have. Like meeting Jessie Mueller after Beautiful, and it was like the third show I'd seen her in like a year. And like there was no one at the Beautiful stage door.
Yeah.
So it was just me and her like chatting
for a
while.
That's
like
nice.
That was great.
I feel like here, from my experience of this week, you can't really have a very like organic experience of stage door.
It's just reaching over people.
Which is fine. Actually, at Waitress it was quite nice. I had like not like a chat, but like actually managed to exchange words. Yeah, so I prefer stage door in London just because it's way more chill. And also Leo was asking, they're like, oh, so he said, are they fans of the people then? I was like, I don't think so. Like, because it was a lot of people being like, oh, so has this person come out and like, who was that? And I'm like, I think it's just because if you get the playbill, so you have something to be able to be signed and stuff. So I think that's kind of a sort of logic. And as well, for the most part, your stage doors are like right next to the theatre entrances. It's easier to find, whereas London, it can be in some places a bit more tucked away. So I don't know. I prefer stage door in London for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Perry, late for the overture, is asking shows you would have loved to have seen on Broadway. And then vice versa for Jake. So I don't know if that means shows you'd love to have seen on Broadway or in the West End. I don't know. I don't really understand that either. I mean, I would have loved to have seen The Great Comet and Bandstand. And maybe even Groundhog Day as a backup.
You had Groundhog Day.
Yeah, but it like was so quick. It's like I didn't even know about it and then it was gone and off to Broadway. So, I mean, I think it's going to come back, so then I'll go see it.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see have a sixpence transfer. I'm still hanging on to that. I think it would work. I think it would be a good idea.
At least we're gonna have Charlie Stemp over here.
I know.
You get one part of half a sixpence. So.
Yeah, I still think that a producer is gonna see him and be like, we need to get him a vehicle, and then he'll be like, we should do half a sixpence.
I'm really excited for him to be over here. I hope it does. I mean, it's already like this whole thing. It's done amazing things for his career, like his Broadway debut at this age, and like with Bernadette Peters. Right.
But I'm trying to think. I don't think there's in recent memory, there's been a West End show that I've been so dying to see that hasn't come over, except for maybe like some National Theatre stuff.
Yeah. Are you not feeling a bit salty about Follies?
Yeah, like obviously that sucks. Like the Marion Elliott company.
To be fair though, a lot of stuff has been transferring over from the National Theatre, hasn't it?
No, of course.
So maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Company is probably going to be brilliant.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know.
I was such a like, yeah, maybe.
Well, no, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of stuff like starts here and then goes there, and then I feel like a lot of the stuff that starts there either has
doesn't go with me.
right, or like has like
the only thing I can think of, well, Play That Goes Wrong, Colour Purple, Groundhog Day, what else?
Dreamgirls is gonna come eventually.
Oh, yeah, is anything like been actually confirmed about that, or just the fact they said they want it to come over? Jonathan, any shows you'd like to see come to Broadway? You've kind of just answered that. I think you're pretty satisfied with your lot here, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. Like I really don't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I would like fly to London tomorrow to see Harry Potter again.
Oh yeah.
But you know, other than that,
I am so intrigued as to how it's going to go down with the tickets here for Harry Potter.
Yeah, I'm not excited about that at all.
You never know. It could be like so easy for you. You could get really lucky, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Not to put it down or anything. Charlotte's also asked, also, why don't Broadway theatres open the emergency exits after the shows to let everyone out?
Very interesting question, Charlotte. And as a certified fire guard of the state,
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think they're always unlocked.
Yeah.
Like if you ever had to leave through one, you could.
Yeah, easily.
The Imperial definitely, which is where Comet is, they definitely open it. I think it just depends on the theater. And the foot traffic. But like a lot of the emergency, like I guess they're all up to code. So like you can't say they're not safe, but I think it's just like a crowd control thing.
Yeah, I would say that initially. That's my first kind of thought. There's not as much room to like just let people out in terms of the footfall space outside the theatres. So you think of everyone coming out and then either having to go into the road because there's not enough room, or like because people hang around. Like some people don't move; they're slow walkers. Right. So I think that's probably one of the main.
And
things.
Most of the emergency exits are like fire escape type setups that lead into alleys that you don't want to get lost in.
Absolutely, yeah.
So like if you were to go out like the emergency exit of like the Broadhurst or the Schubert, like you wouldn't be like happy. It's
not pretty. Yeah.
It's not pretty, and it's not.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's any more practical.
It's not pretty. It's not practical.
As like the normal exit. But like getting out of theaters suck. Never leave during bows. I hate it when people do that.
I hate that.
But I always try to get out of the theater as fast as I physically can.
It's kind of a good thing about me not wanting to rush out of the theatre as soon as possible, because when I'm ready to leave, then actually no one is there anymore. They've all gone, so I just get to just.
I don't know. I just don't. I'm just.
Sorry. The last question we're going to do is again from Perry. So, how heavily influenced are closing notices? How influenced are they by the Tonys outcome? So, if they've been nominated or not, if they've won or not. I'm going to take that as the question. Your thoughts?
It is at once something that I feel the industry wants to think that they mean nothing, but then they also mean
everything.
Everything, because I really think that if things had gone a different way for Dear Evan Hansen, that they would still, and Comet had won, that Dear Evan Hansen would still be running, which isn't the case for Great Comet. And I definitely think that if Great Comet had won,
it would have.
It it would still be running.
Yeah.
Because the title really helps. Like a rare variant of that is like Come From Away, which it's won a lot of major awards, but like it doesn't have an issue filling seats.
Yeah.
Which is miraculous, and like people should study it. Because I don't understand how they're doing it. I'm thankful as to how they are, but
it
most
is fascinating.
right, but most other shows are suffering. There had been no closing notices posted until mid-August, and the only show, like the big show that had closed or shuttered of the season was Amelie.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. It was actually really cute.
I really wanted to see it.
And it was like a race against time, and it's like really rare that you get to like mid-August and no shows have announced a closing. And people had been expecting Bandstand and Warpaint.
Warpaint have just announced for December.
Yeah, maybe Waitress, and then no one expected that the first show to announce would be Comet.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was Bandstand.
Yeah.
And then it was
like
Groundhog
a few days
Day.
after, yeah. And then after the first two, I was like, oh, maybe I'll go see Groundhog Day, and then closing notice. So.
Yeah. And Groundhog Day and Comet were 2 of 4 musicals nominated for Best Musical in the most competitive season in 30 years. Anastasia wasn't nominated at all, and they're still
doing so well.
And it's doing so well. Charlie and Chocolate Factory wasn't nominated at all. And it's still selling really well. So the politics are fascinating, and sometimes they just like don't make any sense.
Yeah.
There's a really wonderful article that was written, I want to say in the New York Times, maybe the Wall Street Journal, about The Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, and it beat Beautiful for Best Musical. Not a very competitive season.
Yeah.
And they had been planning on closing the week after the Tonys, and then they ended up running, I don't know if it was another year and a half or another year, but like this Tony win, like it launched a national tour, and like they wouldn't have done it, and like Kinky Boots would not be all over the world like if they hadn't won the Tony.
Yeah. That's fascinating. I mean, that's a whole video in itself, isn't it? Like a whole piece.
Oh yeah, no. So it just, it really goes to show. And then like Bright Star 2 seasons ago was not doing well financially, and they were going to close, but they were really convinced that they had a shot at getting a nomination for Best Musical, even though they wouldn't win because they were up against Hamilton.
Yeah.
So they kept it. Steve Martin and Edie Brickell put money into it, which you never do. And they kept it open through Tony season, and they actually got nominated for Best Musical, and they ended up being able to run throughout the month.
Sweet.
But then there are shows like Tuck Everlasting and American Psycho from 2 seasons ago, and Amelie from this season that closed immediately because they had no Tony buzz.
That's so sad.
Yeah, so it's really interesting, and a lot of shows come and go. It's usually like the 100 performance mark. It's like, will the show hit it or will it not?
Yeah, it's mental.
Yeah, and you just get used to it, and you get attached to shows, and then they leave, and you don't get attached to shows, and you're like, why are you still running?
Yeah, I hate that. Throw up.
The shade. Oh, the lighting just got darker because of the shade.
Sorry, I'll leave. Maybe let's finish on that sour note.
How long is it?
Also, because I need to go to the theater.
26 minutes? Oh my god.
Yeah.
This was a pleasure and a half. Doing 2 videos with my beloved Rukaya. So honored to be your Broadway expert, because I look to you, and I had looked to you for a year about London, and now to be on the same plane, to be on the same field of theater, love and fandom.
I love it.
And,
I love having you as a friend, because I'm like, anything's happening in New York, I'm like, Jake,
and I know,
tell me.
And I know the same thing.
All the information and anything,
Yeah.
Though I feel like I'm always bugging you with stuff, and
but I love it's all I talk about anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's great.
We're theatre junkies. It's fine.
If you ever want to talk to me about anything.
Yeah, any of my UK people. If you have any Broadway, New York City questions.
Yeah. And if you're come to visit, come say hi. Let's see a
Yeah.
show. I'm always seeing things.
Yeah.
And I'll always see everything again. Except
Really?
for like.
Even if it's crap.
Yeah, but you don't see a lot of crap.
Oh yeah, that's true. Wow. Yeah. All of Jake's social media links will be in the description. So obviously go and check him out. Definitely follow him on Twitter. I said it in the previous video, but he's hilarious. So go and follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. If you haven't already, you really should have by now. I hope you're doing really well, and I will see you very soon. Bye!
Bye.
That was so steady, like, bye!